Hello and welcome to this month's training of the Happy Business Club, which is all about how you can use Facebook for business. Now, there are still always a lot of people who are a bit scathing about Facebook and say, oh, well, it's just for social and this, that, and the other. So let's have a quick look and see why you should or could use Facebook for business. Well, first of all, Facebook has nearly 2 billion users. And a lot of them are active users as well. There's some stats on that. I haven't got it right here, but 2 billion users. So that's a lot of people. A lot of people are on Facebook. So even if you're not, your customers might be. There are more than 50 million business pages. So again, you wouldn't be inventing the wheel. You wouldn't be do something that is completely new. You'd be joining the 50 million plus people that are already doing it. And yes, sure, they won't all have great results from it, but there will be plenty of them who do, and I want to make sure that you're one of the ones that get the results. Another good thing about Facebook that it is really quite well split. So it's about 53% female, 47% male. So you can't say, oh, it's just all only females or only males. It's a pretty 50-50 split between the two. So whether your target audience is women over 30 or men over 20, they're probably on there. In fact, the biggest group is the 18 to 49-year-olds. I do know that the younger group, so the teenagers and stuff, they are much more into things like Instagram and Snapchat than they are into Facebook. So if your business specifically is aimed at teenagers, you may need to look at something else. But the biggest audience is the 18 to 49-year-olds, which is a lot of people's audience. But also don't underestimate the number of older people who are on there. It's definitely not just for young people. The average time spent on Facebook is 20 minutes. So now there are plenty of people who spend an awful lot longer, and obviously there's quite a lot of people who spend shorter, but 20 minutes is a lot of time. So you have a lot of opportunity to get in front of them. But the biggest advantage of Facebook is that it is highly targeted. It is not just a little bit targeted, it is highly targeted. And I'd like to show you an example of the difference between general targeting and Facebook's super targeting, or extreme targeting, as I'd like to call it. So here's a billboard, a typical advertising medium, more used in the States than here, but still. And you can see it's for a jeweler and clearly aimed at men who say, you know, encouraging them to throw some rocks at girls. Now, the billboard salespeople will have told these jewelers that there are 30,000 people driving past this billboard every single day, and effectively their billboard gets seen by 30,000 people. Now, that's lovely, but the number doesn't matter. What you're really interested in is your target audience. Now, let's have a look and see how detailed we can get with Facebook. And this is going into the settings where you create your audience when you're doing an ad. We'll look into that in a little bit more detail, but this is actually, I've picked these things from Facebook. So obviously you can just target them at men. So it's all nice and well that there's 30,000 people going past that billboard, but if your ad is aimed at men, it doesn't matter that 15,000 of those are women, so that's wasted. So you can just look at the men. Then you can say, well, it's jewelry, you know, let's say we're going to go for the 30 plus guy who buys his woman some jewelry. Let's make them professional because you want them to have a job and be able to afford it. You want them to be in a relationship so that they can either buy something for their wife or for their mistress. But if they're officially in a relationship, they're much more likely to buy jewelry. You don't tend to buy jewelry for just anyone. This is something interesting I found. So you can find people that have an anniversary in 61 to 90 days. So perfect. You can do a whole ad for people saying, hey, anniversary coming up. Why not buy your wife some beautiful, you know, jewelry from Spider Green? Oh, Spicer Green. Haha, sorry. I was thinking it's a bit of an odd name. You can also see how many credit cards they have. So I think this is mainly in the US, but I'm not sure. In any case, it is certainly an option. So knowing that somebody has 3 or more credit cards means they're a little bit spend happy, which is what you want them to be. And you can specify that they are homeowners. So again, that they, probably have some sort of stable income, enough to pay the mortgage. So now, the one on the left can be seen by 30,000 people a day. The one on the right might only be seen by 3,000 people a day. But which one would you rather have? The 3,000 people who are men, 30 plus, professional, in a relationship with an anniversary coming up, 3 or more credit cards and homeowners, or 30,000 random people, of which some of them might be this, but you don't know. There might be none of them. In all likelihood there are some, but you certainly don't know which ones they are. And that is the big advantage of Facebook, is that you can be really, really specific. Facebook knows a lot about you, a lot more than you know, and it's not only the things that you've put in. This is a big misconception that people have, is that they think that it's only the stuff that people have said. So like in a relationship, people have said that, obviously. But the things like the anniversary in 61 to 90 days, or so many credit cards, a homeowner, they know that from other things. They go by behaviors. It's really interesting if you look up what Facebook knows about you and see if it's correct. So check that out. But this is definitely a really good reason to be using Facebook for business. Now, some other useful things about Facebook is that it's really good for research. So if you wanted to know, for example, the size of the market that you're looking at, you can use Facebook really well using exactly this method that I just showed you. So I don't know, I think I did do it, but I didn't do it for a specific area. But let's say you wanted to have the people in and around Bristol who fitted all those criteria. And if it then comes up with only 5 people, you think, okay, maybe widen my approach. But if it comes up with, let's say, 8,000 people, you can go like, well, that's a nice market. Let's focus on them. So Facebook is good for research. Now, I've put here it's easy to use up to a point. It is actually quite complicated to get the Facebook ads working properly, and you do really need to pay attention and get it all right. But essentially it is easy to use. You can upload photos, you can create events, you can put the information on there. You don't need to be a web developer. It is actually creating a page and doing some basic things is really easy. You can upload all sorts of stuff, so it isn't something that should cause you too many headaches, certainly not in the start. There's also lots of help available, either from Facebook, although this is only online and it's okay, but it's not quite so good. But there are lots and lots of people that specialize in helping you making the most of Facebook. So sometimes free. I always really like the Social Media Examiner. They're really good in anything to do with Facebook and social media in general. And all sorts of other sort of free help, and there's lots of specialists that can help you for a price, which is can also be a really good use of your money. It can be automated, so people saying, oh, I haven't got time to go on it all the time. Well, you can automate your posts. Ideally, you do want to spend some live time on it, but certainly at a basic level, you can have lots of things that are automated. So posts can be scheduled up to a year in advance, I think, maybe even longer. And so that way you could spend maybe 1 hour a week posting for the whole week, and then you can forget about it. It can also link to your website. And this is actually really important, because Facebook is lovely and you can do a lot of things in Facebook, but you still really want to send them to your website where you can capture their details, where you can give them offers, where you can show them other things. So Facebook is a great way to get people to your website. And finally, there are different levels of usage and pay. So it starts obviously completely free. There's a lot of things you can do where you don't have to pay anything, and you can use it sort of on a sort of beginner's level. But you can go up to getting all of your business from Facebook and using it for absolutely everything. And that's also nice, is that you don't have to be an expert and you can still really get good results from it. A word of caution though. It is just one of your marketing pillars, or it could be one of your marketing pillars. You don't have to do it. If you really don't like it and you really don't know how to do it, and you genuinely think that your target audience is not on there, then don't do it. You don't have to. Just because people say, oh, it's all this, where it all is, it's only there if you use it properly, not if you do it half-heartedly. So don't get too stressed out about it. Make sure that you know who your target audience is. So all this extreme targeting is nice and lovely, but it only works if you know what your target audience is and who they are and what they like and what they have and everything, because otherwise you'll still be doing the same thing as putting that billboard up and just sending it out willy-nilly to 30,000 random people. You also always want to use good quality images. So nowadays in social media in general, actually, I think it's almost compulsory to have an image with every post. I haven't got that myself yet, but certainly the new ones I do, I always put an image on there, because it's just, there's so much to see. You have to capture people's attentions. You absolutely have to take time to learn. So this training isn't actually about how to specifically set up an ad campaign and stuff like that, because honestly, by the time I've recorded it, it probably already changed again. So if you decide that you want to make use of Facebook for your business, I absolutely suggest you take some time to learn. So either online, like I said, plenty of help available, or go to some courses. Just make sure you take time to learn. Don't just, fiddle with it by yourself. And remember that there are 3 user levels. I mentioned it earlier. And in fact, we're going to look at those 3 levels now to show you how you can use it. And so just pick the one that suits you the most and take it from there. So your level 1 is your beginner. So that's somebody that actually has a page. So you might be pre-beginner at the moment, but have a page. They've completed all the sections. Now this is important, even if you have a page. When I was doing the research for this training, I just thought, oh, let's go back into it, and I thought, oh, blimey, they've added stuff. So they add stuff all the time. Things change all the time. So there's a section about your products, for example. So you can add your products with a picture and a link through to, I think the link through to your website. So again, really great. People like being in Facebook. That's where they spend 20 minutes at a time. So the more you have in there, the better. You want to add some photos, possibly add a video. I think just having a video is still considered to be a beginner level, so don't get too excited, but do it. You might post weekly, and you might focus on getting some reviews. So getting reviews is really good. If you have a page and you haven't done that, you might, most people do their page after they've done their website and everything. So they've got testimonials on the website, but haven't got them on Facebook. So what's a really good idea is to go back to the people that have given you a review in the past, copy the text that they've given you first of all, email them and say, hey, I'm just trying to get my Facebook reviews up. This is what you posted previously. Would you mind posting me a review? You can just copy and paste this or write a new one, of course. So doing a little campaign to get some reviews really helps. Facebook likes it, Google likes it. So it's a great way to get more traction for your page. Then when we move on to level 2, which is intermediate, so you have all the things you've done before, and now you're really looking to build an audience. There is something about if your page has more than 1,000 likes, it gets more functionality, you get better insights, you can see more things. So although on the whole, I certainly don't suggest you go and just invite everyone willy-nilly or use one of those services where they say, we can get you thousands of likes. There is something to be said for getting the 1,000 initially. But ideally, you want people who genuinely like your page and engage and interact with it. At this level, you would be posting daily at least, and you would be creating engagement. This is really crucial. So where the beginner level, you're just posting things and you might get some engagement. At this level, you're actively looking for it. And you can do that by posting things that create a reaction. So asking questions, putting up a little poll. Can be a very simple one with just 2 questions. People love pressing a button and then immediately seeing how many people agree with them. So anything like that where you create engagement, because as soon as people engage with you, you get that information. You can get that information from Facebook and you can do more things with it. You might be boosting some posts. Do a regular Facebook Live. So boosting posts is where you spend some money. It's not a lot. It's not a brilliant thing to do, but it's a great way to start. And it's especially good, I think, for getting more likes. It's not so much getting sales and stuff. It's a bit more difficult, but it's good for getting more likes. And a regular Facebook Live, so this is the video function, which I know some people are just a bit scared about, but it's really good. Facebook Lives get 3 times more views and 10 times more engagement than ordinary videos posted on Facebook. They also still get pushed out, so Facebook pushes it out to everyone. Everybody gets a notification to say, hey, so-and-so is live today. At this moment, and remember that people can look back at it. So just because they may have missed the live video, they can look back at it, and it really does get a lot more engagement and comments, which you can use, which later on in some sneaky little trick that I will tell you about as well. And you would also monitor weekly, so you would actually look at your stats and do something with them. So that's the intermediate level. And then finally, the advanced level, this is where you post multiple times a day and you've done some research into what is the best times to post, and you know all these things. You'll be running various ad campaigns and split testing them and making, you know, you look at all your stats all the time. You know exactly what's doing what. You might be using lead ads. Now, this is one of the 2 brand new things that are out and that are very exciting. Lead ads is when normally if you use an ad in Facebook, you send them to your website, ideally a landing page on your website. So you take people away from Facebook, and you have to create a landing page. You have to make sure it works. You have to make sure it captures their data. So you have to give them some sort of compelling lead magnet that they really want. So they give you their details. That's the aim of an ad campaign. Now, when you use lead ads, you do all of this within Facebook. So if you want to offer them something, let's say some sort of report, top tips to get your, to avoid back pain, they would say, oh yeah, I like that. They click on it, and then within Facebook it opens up. It might ask a couple of questions, but then their contact details are already filled in. They can change them, because obviously lots of people use their personal email addresses for Facebook, but they don't have to. So it's nice and easy, and you get the information straight away. It's a bit more expensive, or quite a bit more expensive than ads at the moment, but certainly something worth looking into if you're already running various ad campaigns and are looking to improve on them. And then the most exciting thing, I think, is this ManyChat. So this is a new application using Messenger, but it is an automated, so it's a bot, and like a robot, and you can set whole autoresponder sequences based on the engagement you get on your posts. So this is where the engagement comes back. So let's say you've posted an ad, you've posted a little poll saying, do you ever suffer from back pain? Yes or no? You know, really simple one. And then depending on the ones that comment, you can then send them automatically a messenger message. And it isn't until they engage with that message that you can send them more. So there's no chance of pissing people off, which sometimes happens when people get unwanted stuff all the time. It's only when they engage, but then you can talk to them. It can be, so it's fully automated, and you can make it look like you're typing while the answer comes up. This is definitely something that you would need to look into. So if you're an advanced user and you're not using this yet, look it up. There will be plenty of training. There will be plenty of information about it. I will see if there's something I can find out about it as well that I can share. But it's a really exciting thing, and you can just you know, push messages out to people really quickly and easily. You would also, so as an advanced user, you would monitor your stats daily and do something with them, and it would probably be your main source of business. So I'm not at all suggesting that everybody should be a level 3 user. There's nothing wrong with being a level 1, doing some posts, having the information there, maybe running the odd ad or something, because that's already better than nothing. And certainly if you automate things, it doesn't have to take up too much of your time. But you know, there's certainly a lot of possibilities, and it could, I do know plenty of people for whom it is the main source of their business, so don't discount it. Now, how to get started if you haven't done yet. So although like I said, I'm not going to do the whole how to do it from step to step, I'll just sort of give you a few pointers. Now, literally, this is what I do all the time. Just Google how to create a Facebook page and look at the things that come up. You'll get help from Facebook. There'll be blog posts about it. There'll be all sorts of stuff. So just pick one of them, go through it, and just create it. Follow the instructions. Use something like canva.com to create images. Again, really easy to use and free, really important. And then you want to invite strategically. Like I said before, it is good to get up to 1,000, but it's better to have good quality people there that are actually interested and engaged with you. So invite people that you think might genuinely be interested, not just my entire friend list, for example. Add links to Facebook on your website and on your email. So tell people that you have a page. Don't keep it a secret, because just because you've got one, remember there are 50 million more. So you know you can't expect people to just find it. So tell people about it, and then start posting. Start writing things, share things. Make sure it's useful, relevant, and interesting, and see where it takes you. The main thing I'd like you to take from this is that the key to this is that you have to keep educating yourself. It is really important with this. It changes all the time. 1 minute this works, the other minute they've added something else, or you have to change something. So when you do this, you do have to keep coming back to it and kind of going, oh, let's see what's happening now, because it might very well have changed again. And all the new things that come out, you know, try them out, see how they work, how they might work for you. Especially if you try them out early on, you'll be an early adopter. You'll get all the bugs, but hey, you might also get the really early benefits. So don't be afraid of it. Just, you know, get advice, get some training where you can, and then just keep going. So make an action plan for what you want to do with your Facebook page. Do you just want to create it, or are you at the stage where you want to try out ManyChat or do some lead ads, or do you just want to do some Facebook Lives? I really, really recommend you do. So make your action plan, and then I will see you again next month. Leaving you just with this final picture, which I thought was very apt for social media and Facebook, and that's basically build strong relationships and you will never be alone. All the very best, and see you next month.